Okay, so we decided we want 265 for the fire potential up there, right? It's not about what we see from the exterior of a high-rise. If we see something, that fire has grown way big, right? Those buildings are meant to be tight. So if we see something from the outside, it's a bad, bad day. But it's for the fire potential. That's what we've committed to 265 for, and low pressure at those high elevations. Okay. We're gonna charge this line. We're gonna test it, flow it, and then we'll start moving some hose. Okay. So what I need is a nozzle firefighter right here, and a standpipe wheel firefighter here, and then everybody else can kind of get around here. Our job is our scenario is this, right? We're at the bottom of a stairwell with a nozzle and a discharge here, right? This is as good as it gets for communication from the engineer and the nozzle firefighter. This is best case scenario. It's also worst case scenario as far as moving hose, right? What am I going to do if I have a clean stairwell and a clean hallway to a fire apartment with a closed door? I'm going to stretch dry. You know, I'm not doing this to prove anything to you. The point is, this is kind of worst case scenario. We have a dirty stairwell with an open door. We have a dirty hallway with an open door. We have a dirty stairwell, right? I'm not going to say it's IDLH here, but it's getting smoky in here, so I need to go in prepared to control that, right? So that's why we're advancing from right here, right? So if you're the wheel firefighter, you don't want to open this like you're in the 4th grade, right? The 4th grader would open this thing all the way up as fast as they could and send water to here, right? You got to consider what floor you're on, PRVs, how much pressure may be available, right? When we open this valve here, we're going to have 170 psi here, right? That's a lot of pressure. What does that mean to me in terms of flow? When I'm not flowing, what does that mean to me? I know nothing about flow, right? So just because I see pressure on here doesn't mean I know anything. That's why he's got to open that bail and we've got to flow some water. This takes discipline too. You're in a stairwell, right? You want to fight fire. You feel like you've got some water. You want to just go up the stairs, right? At a house fire, we do that all the time. It's not right, but that's what we do. We pop the nozzle, we say I've got water, and walk through the door, right? You don't know what you're pumping. He'll never know how far to open this wheel if we don't flow that nozzle until we get 70 psi or 80, depending on your hose lay, right? Okay, so let's do that. Let's open that in a real controlled manner. Nozzle firefighter, it's gonna get in a good position to manage this hose line. How many firefighters does it take to flow, not to advance, but to flow 265 gallons out of a 2.5? One firefighter to flow. So he's sending the pressure in a nice and controlled manner. We're taking a look at our layout here. We're going to watch the hose fill. And now we're getting some water, right? What do you see on there? What are we reading? Zero. So almost nothing, right? So keep opening. We have water at the nozzle? Yep. Is that a good stream? I don't like it. That's why we're going to keep flowing. So we're in a stairwell right now, and water is everywhere. It's a mess, but it has to be that way. We got 40. We want to go to 70. 70? All right. We're at 70 psi on our wheel, right? What do you think about your stream? You like it? Okay, let's look at it. We don't hear here at the nozzle like we hear if he doesn't open the bail, right? When he opens the bail halfway, we see our stream is poor, our nozzle reaction increases, so he works harder and less water comes out of that pipe over there, right? That's the bottom line. There's no reason for the bail to be anything other than all the way open when you're checking your nozzle, right? So we like it, we're good, we're ready to shut it down in advance, right? All right, shut it down. Let's talk about one more thing. That gauge is a tool, right? And it needs to be calibrated, and it needs to be maintained, and it can fail just like any tool, right? So this gauge is not a replacement of a firefighter that knows what a stream feels like, what it looks like, what it sounds like, right? So in a stairwell, we need to know what that sounds like hitting against concrete. Hop down there for me one more time and flow it. In a dark stairwell, where we can't see everything, we can't hear and feel everything, he's got his line going, maybe he can't see his stream, right? All he needs to do is pop his hand through it and say, hey, I feel that, right? You can shut it. Can I tell you what feels like 265 and what feels like 210? I have no idea, right? But I can tell you that it feels like more than 120, right? And if I'm taking 120 up there, I want to know it, and that's my job as a nozzle firefighter. So just because this guy says I got 70, just because this gauge says I got 70, isn't a guarantee. I did some training with some guys recently who use these gauges on most fires. Most of their fires are in high rises, and commonly they're off 20 to 30 psi. So what does that mean to us in terms of flow on this? It's cutting it like in half, right? So again, we're going up there with a big, uncomfortable rack line, right? So why didn't we just pull a rack line? We have to know that we have to know how to set our pressure, and we have to have a backup, which is experience and training, right? So you liked your stream, you say you're at 70 psi, I say we're ready to move some hose.